All right, I've already stated how I feel about John Jones's new legacy now that he basically quit. Um, I always felt that he lost that first fight to Alexander Gustafsson. But nonetheless, I think this is the real reason why he basically quit. He's facing charges out of New Mexico. But first, let's get to the past. I don't think John ever had any intentions of fighting Tom. From that stare down from last year, I think he realized that, oh, this guy can beat me. He's 30 years old. I'm 38, right? Roles were reversed. John was 38 when he faced Daniel Cormier, or when John was 30 when he faced DC. DC was 38, gave the young bull a shot. So, yeah, let's go back in time real quick. Yeah, let's do that.
He was praying that I would lose that fight against Curtis Blades. There's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. No.
Remember the first fight, Tom versus Curtis? I believe Tom tore his ACL, came back for the rematch, and then literally in typical Tom fashion, he destroyed Curtis' razor blade.
Not a chance. I will retire John Jones without even fighting him.
John Jones called us last night and retired. John Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Okay, no passing of the belt, no coronation for Tom. Ugh, disgusting. Now, 2 weeks ago, John Jones went on a Twitter rant. Let's go over his tweets. He says there's an interesting take. I'm 37 years old now. My body hurts everywhere, if I'm being honest. Funny how Tommy Boy talks zero smack to the studs of his generation. Tom is the best of his generation. There's nobody for him to fight except maybe Alex Pereira, right? But Tom is the best of his generation. There's nobody for him to really fight to give him a decent challenge. He says barely even mentions their names. And remember, you can't strip a guy like me at this point. I give the belt up freely. Veni Vedi Vici. This is 2 weeks ago. Doug Boy over here winning and sticking one big fat FU to the haters at the same time, quack, quack, by not even giving him the chance. So he was replying, how would you defeat Tom by not even giving him the chance? What kind of champion openly dodges competitors, contenders? This is disgusting. His legacy is tarnished. He says, no, honestly, I wish Tommy no ill will. He is no threat to me whatsoever. He should start with just trying to be the best heavyweight of all time. That goal would be plenty. Between him and Dana, they wasted about 18 months of Tom's prime. You wasted this man's 18 months. That's a year and a half. He could have had 2 fights in by then, right? My career is on a completely different planet. If we're being honest, I really don't hate on other fighters. I'm usually just responding to their envy. He says, I call this photo rent-free, kept the attention of an entire country while doing nothing at all. He never had no intentions of fighting that young bull. John Jones with both of y'all, but hey, why not team up on a podcast and gossip about his life? Meanwhile, he's out here making your annual salary in a week. Stay busy, boys. So we're going back to the I'm rich, you're broke. Typical Negro response. I got money, you don't. Or look how much money I make, to deflect from the real topic. He says, I remember like it was yesterday, 3 years since anyone saw me fight. The mass amount of critics. Jones looked so old now. He's too slow now. Gagne going to be too fast. Jones has never faced someone this big. He's never faced a kickboxer of this caliber. The French and the casuals were convinced Gagne was the future of the heavyweight division. I showed up, I won, then crickets. I believe this was for a vacated title, though. Right? Gagne wasn't a champ. It was like an open, they were fighting for a vacated title, if I remember correctly. Well, let's continue. That's the problem with some young men. You think your last outcome is your legacy. That's why many of you fall short. You can't find the strength to return. But here's the truth. Your legacy isn't your last move. Legacy is what no one can take from you. It's built over time, not defined by a single win or loss. If you're reading this, your legacy is far from over. We wake up each day with a chance to build, to add, to rise, make yours beautiful. No, sir, I'm sorry. And this one fell swoop, you basically tarnished the last 20 years of your career. There's going to be a lot of people no longer holding John Jones as the undisputed GOAT of MMA. My opinion, it is Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, or GSP. He says, I spoke to the UFC a long time ago about what my future plans were. I haven't really worked out since my last fight in New York City. Honestly, I believe it's been in the UFC's best interest to keep presenting me as the company's champion, not Tom. I've just been playing the role of the company man by doing nothing at all and holding the position. And truthfully, it's been incredibly lucrative. I've made more money off of Tom being the interim champ than Tom has himself. It sucks to see the rest of the division get slowed down like this, but that has nothing to do with me. I don't pull the strings. Dana has protected this man for his entire career. This is disgusting. So, this is the real reason I believe that Tom is quitting MMA. Let's go.
Want to fight Tom. And I honestly feel like if Tom loses, he would come back. And that's crazy to me because that's going to only make it worse. Now, outside of all that, we know Jon Jones has a history of things with the law. And today, I find out through people on the internet, because even today, they still love to send me things about Jon Jones, that Jon Jones has a pending thing in Albuquerque right now. That's just sad because I watched Kevin Garnett talk about basketball and start crying. It made me question, what does this guy's life look like when he does not have this? I felt when I was watching that Jon Jones is so tied to mixed martial arts. What does life look like when it's gone? It will leave such a void, as it does for so many fighters.
Let me get back to this last tweet he posted. So, per Dana, right, Jon asked for a specific number. Dana matched the number for him to fight Tom, and then all of a sudden, he says, no, I'm good. So now, all of a sudden, okay, sure. If it makes sense to y'all, then that's all that matters. Let's go.
I guess this is what it said. There's a criminal complaint against Jon Jones. It stated that an Albuquerque police officer was investigating a traffic crash near San Mateo and Lomas when she came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lacking clothing from the waist down. I got this from the Albuquerque Journal.
This Negro was so intoxicated, he wasn't wearing any pants or underwear. Remember the TikTok video, the Twitter video of the young man that was so out of it, pulled up to the drive-through with no pants, no underwear, and it was recorded, and he basically offed himself after he went viral. That's what we have right here. But let's continue. Jeezy Pete's.
Which was sent to me. The woman reportedly said Jones was the driver, but fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones, the complaint stated, and a police service aide spoke to the man on the other end of the call, believed to be Jones. He appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties, to the PSA. The court record stated the PSA requested backup after what was believed to be a threat when a police officer then talked to Jones and said similar allusions to violence were made. The man on the phone never answered direct questions about whether he was Jones, the complaint stated. When interviewed in person a few days after the crash, Jones said the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day intoxicated and called him after getting in a crash, at which time Jones said the person she handed the phone to immediately opened the conversation with unprofessional language, which led to him doubting the legitimacy of the individual's claim. The woman later told police she drank alcohol and consumed mushroom at Jones's house and recalled needing to change her clothes at his house. And her next recollection was being at the scene of the crime, the traffic accident. She said the last person she remembered driving her car was Jones. The court record indicated. Police said Jones called the woman's phone 13 times from the time of the crash until 11:34 a.m. the following morning. And that text messages from his phone were included, though they could not be captured in call detail records.
Okay, I don't think, and I hate to say this, I don't think Jon Jones will live to see 55, 60. I believe his addictions and his vices will overtake him, will consume him. I believe there are more future domestic issues to be witnessed from him. Now, he does have a penchant of putting hands on his woman, not his wife, his woman, right? I see Jones spiraling out of control in the next decade or so. We're going to make more videos about him and his descent into hell. But let's continue.
The police report indicated the crash happened February 21st, but also in one place stated an officer conducted follow-up interviews on January 24th. It's unclear why the charge against Jones wasn't filed until months after the incident. There's no indication that the charges and the decision to retire are connected.
I beg to differ, but let's continue.
That's the whole statement from the Albuquerque Journal that in January Jones had an issue. The saddest thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. You know, I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very it's just not smart. I hope that as he goes into this next phase of his career, if it's over forever, he fills the void with something positive. He's got some beautiful children. He's got a longtime girlfriend.
Not a wife, girlfriend. But let's continue.
He needs to fill that time with those people if he's going to be able to come out of the other side of his career with something else. Because even if you have a lot of money, you can have money and still not have purpose. His purpose is in those beautiful kids of his. His purpose is in that beautiful woman of his.
His purpose should be those kids and that woman. Should be. But from all, outside looking in, no. This just, like I said, this just happened back in January. So no, his family is not his purpose, not his focus, not his main concern. So I hate to say, we're gonna enjoy watching this man spiral out of control. Hopefully he doesn't take anybody out with him. Hopefully he doesn't endanger anybody else's lives, only his. But that's what we're looking at right now.
That's his purpose. He needs to find a way to lock in on that and not all these other things. Because if I never heard another story like that about John Jones, that would not be soon enough. I don't want to hear that. I don't celebrate that. So when people send me the article and goes, wow, trash, this guy, that, it doesn't really make me happy. It makes me look at another black athlete that is struggling.
And there it is there. Y'all have a good one. Peace.